Welcome back, friends. Today I'm going to tell you the story of Old Sultan. Once upon a time, there was a dog and he was named Sultan. And Sultan was a very loyal dog, but the shepherd who owned him wasn't very loyal to him. Old Sultan was listening as the shepherd was talking to his wife. The shepherd was telling his wife, "You know what? Old Sultan, he has no teeth left. Thieves aren't going to be very scared of him. He's not going to scare away any wild beasts. I think we should get rid of Old Sultan." The wife was, "Oh, you cannot get rid of Sultan. He's been such a loyal friend to us. He has served us well all these years. How can we get rid of him?" But the shepherd wasn't really hearing any of it. He said, "He costs money, and, I think it would be just best for all of us if Old Sultan went away forever." Now, Old Sultan was getting very sad because Old Sultan loved his home, and he loved being with the shepherd, and he didn't want to leave. But he accepted fate for what it was, and so he decided, well, I'm going to go say a last goodbye to my friend the wolf. So he went out to the wilderness where the wolf lives, and he was like, "Hey, wolf!" And the wolf was like, "Oh, hey, it's Sultan, how's it going?" And Sultan said, "It's actually not going too good for me because tomorrow the shepherd plans to get rid of me." And the wolf said, "Oh yeah, why is that?" And Sultan's was like, "Well, he thinks I'm not really useful to him anymore, so he just plans to get rid of me." And the wolf said, "I have a plan, and if you listen to my plan, the shepherd is going to love you more than he ever had before, and he will never get rid of you, and he will make sure that you are taken care of for all of your days." And Sultan said, "Oh really? What's the plan?" And the wolf said to him, "Okay, so this is what we need to do. You know how every day the shepherd and his wife go out to the field to work, right?" And Old Sultan says, "Yeah, I know that." And the wolf said to him, "Well, here's what you need to do. Make sure that when the shepherd and his wife go out to work in the fields and they lay their baby down underneath the shade of the tree, that you are sitting underneath the shade with the baby. And when I come, I can come and grab up the baby, take him off into the wilderness. You can chase after me, and then once we're in the wooded area, I'm going to put him down, and you can pick him up and bring it back to the shepherd and his wife, and they will be so thankful that you saved their child that they will never get rid of you, and that they will have a renewed appreciation for you. They will love you and make sure you are taken care of for the rest of your days." This sounded pretty good to Old Sultan, so he said, "Why not? Let's try it out." So they went, and as usual, the next morning, the shepherd and his wife went out to the field to work. And they laid the baby down underneath the shade of the tree, and Old Sultan made sure he sat next to the baby. Now, when the wolf came and he picked up the baby, and he ran off toward the woods. Old Sultan barked a couple times to make sure that the shepherd and his wife had their attention. And of course they looked over, and they saw the wolf carrying off the baby. And the wife screamed, and the shepherd, he was yelling, he was saying, "Come back, come back." But the wolf was running off, and Old Sultan sprang up, and he ran off after the wolf. And he went, and once they got into the wooded area, the wolf put down the baby, and Old Sultan swooped him up and ran back with the baby and brought him back safe and sound to the shepherd and his wife. As you can imagine, the shepherd was very thankful that the baby was safe and sound. The shepherd looked over at the wife and said, "You know what? We need to take care of Old Sultan for the rest of his days. He's more loyal than even I thought. He's more than just a good dog, he's a loyal dog, and I'm going to make sure he's well taken care of." So they went out, they bought him a pillow, a special pillow to sit on, and they bought him beef stew, and they fed him beef stew, because of course he had no teeth, so he couldn't chew meat, but they bought him beef stew. And so for every day, he got to sit on his pillow, and he got to eat the beef stew every day, and he was very happy. And after a couple of weeks had passed, his old friend the wolf came walking by, and he says, "Sultan, how are you doing?" And Sultan said, "I am doing well, my friend. I am well taken care of. Your plan that you made worked just as you said it would, and I am doing well." Now the wolf said, "I have an idea. I am really hungry tonight, and I noticed that the shepherd has some really, really fat sheep. I think I would like to have one of those. So tonight at about midnight, I'm going to sneak into his flock and steal one. I know you won't mind. Now, Old Sultan heard this and he said, don't count on it, my friend, because I cannot be disloyal like that to my shepherd. Now, the wolf just laughed at him and left, because he thought that Old Sultan was just joking. But Old Sultan was not just joking. After the wolf had left, Old Sultan was starting to get worried, so he went and he told the shepherd of the wolf's plans. And that night, the shepherd was waiting outside with his big stick. And the wolf just carelessly walked up to the sheep. He was just walking up, and he walks up to the sheep, and he's about to jump over to grab one of the sheep. And there's the shepherd standing right there with his big stick. Whack! With the big stick. And the wolf was surprised. He got his big eyes, and he said, "Youch!" And he ran away as fast as he could. Now the next day, the wolf was kind of angry with Old Sultan. So he went back and he said, "Old Sultan, you know how I told you my plans? Well, somehow the shepherd found out about it, and I think it was because you told him. Why would you do something like that?" And Sultan looked at him and he said, "I told you I was a loyal dog, and I cannot betray my shepherd like that." Now the wolf heard this, and he kind of grumbled, and he was like, "I don't get that Old Sultan guy." But he understood that Old Sultan was a different kind of person. And so the wolf just accepted him, and he said, "Well, you know what, we can still be friends, but I don't think I'm ever going to try to steal one of your shepherd's sheep again." The end.